Welcome to Fitzdog Radio. I am your host, Greg Fitzsimmons, and I have been with you for many years. Thank you for those of you who've been on the ride. We got some fun podcasts coming up. Next week is the great Pauly Shore. Oh, yeah. Great guest. I already recorded it. Rob Corddry's coming up. Kirk Fox from The Jury. And a bunch of other fun people. I think Caroline Ray is coming on soon. And then I'm going to take a week off while I go to Europe this summer. So maybe we'll get a guest host. Who knows? I just did an episode last week that was it was an important episode for me to do because I've been talking about doing it for years because I got the audio tapes of my dad. And so I put together a Father's Day episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I got a ton of email from people. It was really heartfelt. There was a lot of really touching notes written to me by people that also had complicated relationships with their father. And I think I struck a chord with some people. And, my hope was that my love for him would come through. And it did. And I cried a little bit, and I apologize for crying, and a lot of people wrote in to say, shut the fuck up. There's nothing wrong with crying, and I think I always had that you shouldn't cry thing, which was tough because I'm a crier, and my sister's a crier, and my daughter is a crier. And it's fine to cry, I think, for men, as long as it's an emotional cry. You don't want to cry from physical pain because that's seen as weak. Like I remember when we were in like 7th grade, I was playing street hockey with my friends, Kyle McGovern and Danny Killerin and Tommy Bucci. And we would have these kind of fake fights where we would check each other and then there'd be like a pile on. And I remember at one point we were in front of Kyle McGovern's house and there was a pile on me and I was being completely held down and people were taking turns punching me in the side of the thigh as hard as they could. And it really fucking hurt and I cried. I was like, 12? And they gave me so much shit at school the next day that I was limping the next day and they gave me shit about crying. That was a rough one. I cry at stuff. I remember the first time I dropped my son off at preschool. Me and my wife dropped him off, and then we sat in the parking lot and we cried our eyes out. That was a big one. Anyway, and my friend was crying last night. I got a good buddy whose birthday it was, and we went to Hinano, which is this cool bar, kind of an OG Venice bar on Washington. And a friend of his died, and he came in with tears in his eyes, and I could tell he felt self-conscious about it. And I felt like, Jesus Christ, your friend died. You're allowed to cry. And I think it's just tough. Why is it that men won't cry in front of other men? I respected him for crying. I would think it would be weird to lose a friend and not cry. So I should check in with him today, see how he's doing. But maybe that'll make him self-conscious. Maybe he's listening. Hey, man, I hope you're doing okay. But Hinano was fun last night. There was a band. It was like a band played from like 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And we all went down and danced a little. I did a little dancing. But there was just a lot of Venice chicks, like older Venice chicks, braless, dancing like to kind of hippie songs from an all-black band, which was weird. There was some Latinos that were salsa dancing. There was, we shot pool. I brought my daughter, and she was on a team with Dennis Gubbins, and I was on a team with this girl that may or may not have been on methamphetamines. And I took a dive. I let my daughter win because she loves playing bar pool, and she's getting better. but I purposely lost the game. And then they continued. Then they played a couple. They ran the table. They ran a couple more games. It was a fun night. Gibbons came down, and Dickie and his wife. It was fun. So anyway, also got a nice note from Ben Neppers. Is it Kneppers or Neppers? I always forget, but he's an old friend who I met through the podcast and him coming out to my shows, and kind of a great story of following your dream. He started this company called, I think it's called Bureo, Bureo, and they recycle fish nets from the sea in Chile, and they turn it into outerwear, jackets, shirts, skateboards, Jenga games, sunglasses, and they have made deals with like 1 million big stores. You know, Patagonia, I think, is their biggest client, and then REI, and like a ton of companies. And now they're about to go worldwide, so it's pretty exciting. And so he reached out, and he liked my Father's Day podcast. So there was a very sweet note from him. We had a good weekend. Went to a party at a neighbor's house. Nancy Zubiri and her husband Robert. He writes for the LA Times, and he's a very knowledgeable guy. And Nancy taught at Venice High School for a lot of years, so she's seen a lot. And we just had a great time. There was a bunch of other couples there. One of the women I was talking to is a psychologist that's getting into hallucinogenic therapy, working with MDMA or mushrooms and stuff. And so I was like, all right, we got to keep in touch. I want to do some of that. I guess the new thing is to take MDMA mixed with psilocybin mushrooms, because then you get like the best trip experience, which is what I want. But I'm also thinking pretty seriously about going into the desert with my friend Tom and taking ayahuasca, going all in, vomiting, maybe shitting my pants, seeing my ego shrink, stepping outside of this nightmare of cycling thoughts, and accepting life on its own terms a little bit more. That's all you can do. Happiness is not about changing your external situation. It's about accepting yourself and being the person you're proud of. I learned all this on TikTok. So don't tell me that while I'm sitting on a toilet, I can't be bettering myself. Well, I am bettering myself. I'm getting shit out of my body. That's definitely an improvement. Who wants shit in their body? Isn't that weird? We walk around with shit in our body. Shit is gross. If you see it or you smell it, you walk around it, it grosses you out. Meanwhile, it's in you. You're walking around with it. Just the only thing between it being outside and inside is you puckering your asshole. But it's sitting there waiting to come out. But you can't smell through your asshole, or else you would smell like shit. Your asshole is scent proof, apparently. There, I just lost my traction. My algorithm just got shot down by YouTube because of the way I talk, because of my potty mouth. Doing a pilot with the Game Show Network. We sold the show a year ago, and we're now presenting the pilot to the network this tomorrow. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So send some positive vibes to the West Coast so we can sell this show. And then we'll have a busy 2024. All right, we got some nice notes. Dan said, love the show, and cleaning my house while listening to a new Sunday Papers is my new habit on the weekends. I hear that from a lot of people. And I'm sorry, last week's Sunday Papers, the video crashed on the Zoom. I don't know how the fuck that's never happened before, but we lost the video. So you can listen to it on YouTube, or you can listen to it wherever, Apple Podcasts, but you can't look at our beautiful faces moving around. Mark Swisher said, spring finally springing here in Baltimore. My wife and I have had bidet toilet seats, boy, more toilet talk, for close to 10 years. The legit kind with warm water and heated seat. Bio Bidet is the brand. I just use like 4 squares of TP to dab my nether region. The fan takes too long. Oh, there's a fan down there. Don't you shit onto the blades of the fan? How does that work? I keep baby wipes in my car on the off chance I have to dump off home base. Dry toilet paper is really barbaric. It is. What did people do before toilet paper? Like, ancient Rome. What did you wipe your ass with? Coca leaves? All right, this comes from Rob in Cincinnati. I've been discussing titles for my 3 questions that I ask all my comedian guests. Fastballs with Fitzy, I've been calling. And he said, how about the Blitz with Fitz? That's not bad. I like him. I'm going to jot that down. The Blitz with Fitz. Thank you. Dylan Caldwell. Hey, Greg. One of my favorite fat guy adventures to Chick-fil-A, I hear a mother walking with her 2 kids. The young daughter screams, "I don't want chicken." The mom promptly shushes her as they walk inside. Yes. That is what I should have done more with my children. I think we were way too indulgent on what they wanted. Who gives a fuck what you want? This is what you need. You need some chicken, baby. And then we'll go home and you need a bath. I don't care if you don't want a bath. I don't care if you don't want want. There's no want. I tell you what you need. That's how we parent. We've lost that. Sometimes I really worry that my kids are soft. I mean, they're good kids, and I think they're going to be successful. But I don't know that they understand how to take direction because they've been indulged that what they want is the most important thing. It's too late now. They are who they are. I can't retrain them. I've fucked them up. This guy says, Ryan in Rochester, New York says, doing flooring at a construction new build site and 2 guys are at a pickup truck on the street. Quote, I have to order on these fucking tablets now. I guess he means like an iPad. How am I going to hit on the waitress now and have a little fun? Fucking robots don't have tits. Tits are awesome. This guy's right. I mean, sometimes on a 10-hour day of putting in flooring, the only thing standing between you and putting a gun to your head is a pair of nice tits and a smile. Get rid of the tablets. Can we bring back the human or even a guy with some nice balls? I don't care. I don't want to be sexist about this, but tits are awesome. Scott Savitsi says, got too stoned to remember what the preteen boys said. I need to take better notes. Oh, well. Huge fan, Greg, since MTV. Really appreciate you. Your fantastically funny and truthful point of view on this journey. Keep up the good work. Yeah. I guess if you got too stoned to remember the overheard, there's not much you can do about that. I would say if you're smoking pot, people, keep a pen and paper handy. I forgot some of the great moments of my life. I have had so many great, funny moments that I have no recollection of. And that's the best thing about hanging out with old friends is they remind you. Like I saw my friend Christina Blanco in Massachusetts, in Boston last weekend. And she reminded me that in class we had this teacher named Dr. Quinn. And Dr. Quinn was, I can't say for sure. I know when you're in 8th grade, it's very easy to dislike a teacher and to put them down. So I won't put Dr. Quinn down, except to say that Christina told me that there was a black girl in class and he said something that was inappropriate to her. And I organized a strike, and the strike took shape like this. Every day when our class with him, let's just say it was from 1 to 2. Well, at 1:30, and the clocks used to click. The minute hand would actually click. Once a minute, it would click. And when it hit 12:30 exactly, every single kid in the class had paper under their desk, and they would crinkle it, and it would drive them fucking crazy. And I forgot about that. And in the springtime, the windows would be open, and I would jump out the window because it was on the ground floor of the school. And when he had his back to us, when he was writing on the board, I'd jump out the window. And then I would come into the classroom like 10, 15 minutes later, and he'd look at me and he'd go, "Where were you?" And I'd say, "Dr. Quinn, you just told me I could go to the bathroom." And all the kids in the class would be like, "Yeah, Dr. Quinn." And he would think he was going crazy, besides hearing paper getting crinkled. Here's where you can see me do some other funny stuff. Pottstown, PA. Soul Joel's on July 21st. Also in Point Pleasant, New Jersey at Uncle Vinny's, July 22nd and 23rd. Get your tickets at Fitzdog.com. Also, I want to give a shout out. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a online therapy service that I have used for years. I'm currently not, but I used it during the pandemic, and I can honestly say it helped me get through a lot. It helped me learn about myself. It's like there's so many things that people need from you, and you got to think about like what you need from yourself sometimes. And that's what therapy is. It's a way of honoring that you deserve some energy and time as well. Especially, look, if you got kids, maybe you're in a tough marriage, you can find yourself giving a lot and you can get exhausted from that. And then you're really not a good partner or parent. So I suggest you give BetterHelp a try. It's flexible. You don't have to drive to therapy anymore. They set you up. You take a brief questionnaire. They set you up with a licensed therapist who is specializing in the needs you have, whether it's ADHD, whether it's depression, whether it's a breakup, whether it's you lost a loved one. I mean, they hone in on what you need and they get you just the right person. If it's not, you can switch therapists for no extra charge. They're really amazing. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Fitzdog today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Fitzdog. Also, a part of today's programming and financing us is a company I'm very excited about, which is Game Time. Game Time is an app. They also have a website, which is gametime.co, not com. But if you're looking for music, comedy, or theater tickets near you, they got this amazing thing where they get you these last-minute killer deals. They got a best price guarantee. You don't have to stress anymore. Going to a concert should be fun. You shouldn't be like worrying about what you're going to pay and where the seats are going to be. You are going to get great seats at the last minute with Game Time. I'm looking at the app right now, and it's telling me that if I want to go see the Los Angeles Angels play tonight, I can get tickets for $2. So you just watch it. The Dodgers for $27 on next Monday. LA Galaxy's coming to town. It's really fun to do because you can see from the point of view of the seats. They've got in the app, you can look around and see the view that you'd have from those seats. They'll give you 110% of the difference if you find the same tickets in the same row and section as yours are in. Fastest growing app in the country for a reason. Couple of taps and you got your tickets in your phone. No printing, no transferring. It's real simple and you'll love it. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Fitzdog for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code Fitzdog for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Also guaranteed, you're going to love my guest today. Oh, man, I first got to know her doing the Chelsea Lately panel show for years and watching her she did all the Comedy Central roast, Joan Rivers, Hasselhoff, Donald Trump. She created Two Broke Girls, which she made bank from. I know because I just visited her house for the podcast. She also had her own show, Whitney. She was the head writer on Roseanne. She's had like 4 specials. Super funny. Great chick. I have so much respect for her, and I'm happy to call her a friend. Please enjoy my conversation from last week with the great Whitney Cummings. Welcome to Fitzdog Radio. We are at the Whitney Cummings. It's like a studio apartment in North Hollywood. It's really cute, and I think at some point she's going to, I hope things work out for you, and you can upgrade a little bit.
I appreciate that.
The futon is the best, and it goes with the beanbag chair so well.
I honestly think that's more the way to go.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Elon Musk does? Hasn't he given everything away? Or does he just say that so no one tries to steal from him?
That's very smart. That's very smart. Say you're broke, I drive a shitty car.
Smart.
I don't put pictures of my wife or kids on the internet, very rarely. I put my son up because he just graduated college. So that was a very rare thing.
Yeah.
I keep my shit low profile. Meanwhile, I am fabulously wealthy.
By the way, apparently the people with the most money are the one that are the cheapest. Like all the money I have, you see all of it.
Yeah.
No cash.
Right,
I am cash poor.
Really?
Nah, I wouldn't say. It depends. It's tied up in
It's tied up.
It's tied up in a lot of things. Apparently you're not supposed to have a lot of cash.
Yeah.
It pains me to put money in a 401k, put it in things, but you're like a property baron.
Property baron.
You put money in property.
And the smart thing is, as soon as our kids were born, we were really smart about putting money in a college account. So that was all set. They're both all set for college, and that was huge.
And are they in-state, out-of-state?
Out-of-state, Chicago. He just graduated DePaul University.
Whoa,
yeah.
That's a good school, big money.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It was all right. But
what do you major in? What do you study?
Communications.
That's what I majored in. And look at me now.
Well, let me tell you something. You are one of the rare ones. I make a joke on stage. I go, you study communications, which is a study of how to live off your father for the rest of your life.
How to communicate with your father by asking for a Western Union every day.
Yeah. There used to be like a hacky old joke of like, oh, you're studying communications? Please drive up to the window. Your total is $863.
I actually must say, I think that me going into communications, maybe it was just the school I was at, is why I became a comedian.
Where'd you go to Penn?
Mm-hmm. Because the school that I was at, which was the Annenberg like journalism school,
yeah,
I wanted to be a journalist, really, really bad. But I think doing comedy is kind of a similar itch you're scratching.
Yeah,
you know, you're getting to the bottom of things.
Sure.
You're spreading the word. You're sounding the alarm.
Oh, also the structure of a routine is very, if you're doing it a certain way, you come up with your opening thesis, and then you have different angles on it.
Yep.
And then you kind of sum it up.
Yeah, and it's sort of a mix between journalism and law.
Yeah,
because I always feel like, I come from lawyers, and I feel like I sometimes still want to be a lawyer. Sometimes I have this obsession with justice, and it's, the older you get, the more theatrical you realize it is, and right. Like it seems so much more interesting and fun in there with all these like weirdos just like fighting. I went to
shit, yeah, being a lawyer would be amazing.
Have you ever been to a small claims court case?
No.
Okay. So when I first got a television show, I guess this is kind of a racket people do, like an ambulance chasing kind of thing, where when they see that you're on a billboard, I don't know how, but cab drivers in LA, they would basically just accuse you of hitting their cab, take you to small claims court, and schedule it on Christmas Eve.
No way.
Right? So if you don't show up, they automatically get the $6,000.
Oh my God.
It's a pretty good racket.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good racket. The mistake this guy made was thinking I had a family or anyone that loved me. And didn't understand how poor I grew up and how big a deal $6,000 was to me.
Right.
So schedule it on December 24th, the day I have the most free out of the year.
Yeah.
And I show up, and it's like these guys, they're in belt buckles and the Hugo Boss purple shirts, and like they're ready to and then I show up and they're like, they just banked on me not showing up.
Yeah.
And so I show up, but I have to sit through 4 other small claims court cases before.
Fun. Yeah.
I'm sitting through these small claims courts. I'm on the edge of my seat. Everyone looks miserable. I'm like, this is where I belong. I'm going to be the next Judge Judy.
Yeah.
And the case before mine were two men that breed bulls. One was accusing the other of stealing his bull's semen in the middle of the night and had to prove that his bull had been jerked off and that the next morning the ounceage of semen wasn't as high. It was riveting.
Did they interview the bull and see if he was filled with shame? Was he not making eye contact?
And the one guy's like, I don't even know how to jerk a bull off. Like, I have something to do. Like, it was wild. I was like, please sue me more often, you guys.
That's
I am
amazing.
in heaven. It was pretty awesome. And then I got to
jerking off a bull. Think about the power of that ejaculation.
Yep.
The sounds that bull would, like, I'm not gay, but I would jerk off a bull just for the experience.
Think about where you are in your life where you're like, I need a quick 6 grand. I don't know. You know what? I bet bull semen is actually super valuable because I know elephant semen is really valuable for zoos. Elephant semen, I guess, goes for like 180 grand. I'm sure racehorse semen goes for a lot. What's your semen going for, Fitzsimmons?
My semen seems to get thrown away on a regular basis. There's no love for my semen. You know what's weird though is like I masturbate and then I feel really ashamed.
This seems to be a pretty common thing. Do you think I hear this a lot. The guy I'm dating, he's like, I stopped masturbating 10 years ago. He's like, he's like, it makes me feel bad. I'm sure he's done it since. He's like, it makes me feel bad about myself. Is that a religious thing? Do you have like
I think so. I was raised very Catholic.
But were you told don't masturbate?
I was told that sex was something that is private, that is not joyous, that is not something you should share or talk about. The fact that I'm telling you that I even masturbate feels weird to me.
It felt weird when you hadn't talked about it yet. I'm a comic. I'm like,
you're like 12 minutes in and the guy
how come Greg doesn't ever bring this up? Everyone thinks it's weird.
But like women feel empowered when do you feel empowered when you masturbate?
I don't feel, I'm like, that was that.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was probably good.
Just like eating a meal or something.
Yeah, that was exactly like that was healthy.
Yeah.
Like that staved off texting a toxic ex one more day.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that to masturbate as a woman, oftentimes you have to go not weirder places. Maybe there's a little more depth to it. It seems like there's a little more, you got to find the right video. And if there's any bruises, you got to go to another video. It's like a lot of like, my brain is like, that bed's not assembled right. Is she okay? Like I want to DM the girl and make sure she's okay. You have to find the perfect video.
Yeah.
And I've gotten into the amateur ones because it seems like they're very.
That's all I want. I don't want actors.
It seems like, this is why our business is dying.
That's right. I know. That's why you're doing a show on OnlyFans.
That's right. OnlyFans TV.
Yeah, right.
Well, look, when I did these 2 roast specials on OnlyFans TV, and I got to be honest, I really wanted to course correct from this snobby thing that I used to do when Netflix came to me 8 years ago. I was like, do you want to do a special on Netflix? I was like, the company that puts DVDs in envelopes and drops them off at people's doors. Like when Twitter came around, I was like, I'm not going to tweet about what I had for breakfast. That I was like, I'm always kind of like the resistant, and I was like, let me just like, sex workers always know where the money is.
Right.
Stand up and sex work, we go hand in hand. Like stand up started in strip clubs in America. And I'm like, why?
And technology is always led by sex. As a matter of fact,
Add to cart is from porn.
What is?
Add to cart.
Add to cart? Oh, is
like
that
the
right?
concept of add to cart. Yeah.
Well, I know that Sony Betamax, the first thing they made was porn movies.
Mm-hmm.
Movies, the first films that were made was burlesque stuff like in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking cave drawings. The first cave drawings were people fucking.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Fascinating.
The printing press, all porn.
That's it. So that's what drives it. That's where the money is.
Yeah.
Sex workers don't play around. They don't sit in stupid holding deals with Amazon for
right.
40 grand.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're like, nah, we don't care what you're called. Like, we're not going to do a deal with a grocery store. They don't talk themselves into taking money for the promise of future opportunities or networking, which is so much of what we do in television. We're like, oh, it'd be good for me to take a pay cut here, because it's a good person to be in business with.
Yeah.
It's like nothing is, coming of it. And then also, I mean, they put OnlyFans has probably paid more women than most studios and networks in Hollywood. So you see all these like hypocrites in Hollywood. They're like, we need to hire and pay women. But then they're like, OnlyFans, ugh. So for me, I like to move towards stigma a little bit, maybe sometimes to my own, detriment. But the fact that they promised no censorship that's where it was for me. Not that I wanted to say too crazy stuff. Like you saw some of the roast. I wanted to bring the roast back in a way that was like, not going to be really actually racist and calling 40-year-old women, unfuckable and saying guys have small dicks. It's like, not because that's just not funny. It's just we've seen it too much. Right. And like, I was like, what if we do this in a way where we build people up, everyone gets to play the top of their intelligence, and there's truly no censorship, not even just notes, but like we were talking about this earlier, like on YouTube, things get demonetized if you say, why don't I not say it right now? Like all the curse words, all the Carlin, words, we're back to not being able to say those again.
It's unbelievable. You really, the idea behind the internet, the promise of the internet was freedom of expression, freedom of political expression, religious expression. And now we're finding, like we talked about, it's actually tighter than it ever was. And network TV is tighter than it ever was. There used to be, in 1975, All in the Family came out on CBS, the Tiffany Network, 8 o'clock on Saturday night, no warnings, no censorship. Those same episodes are run on Nickelodeon at midnight with warnings, and they're edited down.
That's
what
wild.
The fuck happened to this country?
That is wild. Well, when I used to make Two Broke Girls, when I don't want to, things you're not allowed to say on Netflix, right? Or you'll get, crap for it. Or let me take that back. I feel like Netflix is a different situation. That was more like pressure from the employees there. Do you know what I mean? Right? Like what happened with Chappelle. Yeah. That was more pressure from the employees. I think that ended up helping him a lot. I think it's more Instagram now, Facebook, all the places you're like, this is where we just get to be free and be ourselves, and you don't have sponsors, and you don't have Pampers as one of the commercials who's going to say you can't say this or that, or you have religious groups writing in if you say Jesus Christ or God or whatever. But YouTube, and then Apple, love Apple, but Apple's these are Disney. I mean, Fox just bought Hulu, which is these are Disney owned. I made Roseanne on ABC. It's like, the tweet was the tweet, but it's also like we're making TV for a cartoon mouse is their mascot.
But where does the rubber hit the road with censorship? What is like TikTok? What are they worried about?
Well, they're
what
worried
from
about
their
this.
employees?
Well, because it used to be you would go.
Because they're not selling ads for soap.
They're also doing instantaneous syndication around the world. So it used to be we would make, and what I was going to say before is, and I didn't get to it elegantly enough, is that what we would put on Two Broke Girls on CBS, even 6 years ago, you couldn't say that on Instagram right now. Yeah. And it's airing in China, unedited. So it's this wild time. And there's a couple things. Number one, it used to be we would make television, right? You would, you worked on a million shows. Like you would make, a sitcom, you would do 120 episodes, make them all in America, make them here. Everything's got to work here. And then you ship it out, sell it all around the world, right? Now you're instantly syndicating it. Can you imagine instantly like blasting around the world The Office if it first came out? Half the people would be like, what? There's such specific references. It's just jokes about Chili's, jokes about PT Cruisers. Not everything is universal like that. And I remember when I went over to perform in the Middle East, I was so worried because I was like, oh God, I talk about sex, I talk about dicks. I was fine. Ahmed made a joke about a mosque being next to a nightclub, and he got like banned from the country.
No shit. So a white person could say it, but not a Muslim person.
Oh, I don't know if it was more, I talked about dicks and sex, and he talked about religion.
Oh, I see.
So you can't talk about religion or their leaders or the sheikhs. So it's like, if we're saying God or Jesus, half the world doesn't say God or Jesus.
And I thank God for stand-up, because I love it when people come to me and they go, it must be so hard these days doing stand-up with all this political correctness and this sensitivity. And I'm like, I have not noticed an iota of change in comedy clubs. Yeah. I have not gotten any pushback. Yes, they celebrate that there's somebody talking honestly.
Because there's finally tension again, It was like before this like cancel culture moment, which by the way, note who's driving this narrative. It's mostly comedians.
Yeah, right.
We're like, we can't say anything anymore. Like, come see us this weekend where I'm going to say crazy stuff, because I think when Donald Trump was president, not to get political, this is just a fact, like he was so goddamn entertaining, and it was so impossible to shock anyone. I mean, there was a P-tape, there was Stormy Daniels. You get on stage, like, how do you shock anyone? During that time. So now it's actually kind of cool that there's tension again. There's eggshells on the ground.
Yes.
I
mean, the whole abortion thing, like, I can't write enough abortion jokes. And I do them everywhere. I don't give a shit.
Love it.
Anti-gun jokes. I'm anti-gun. I was just in Austin at Joe's Club. Opened with 5 minutes bashing guns.
How'd it go?
They fucking loved it.
They just want bravery and comedy. They don't need to agree with you.
Right.
True comedy fans don't have to agree with everything you say. But I think we're in, look, I don't know. If you were just starting out as a comic right now at 25, maybe we would be doing the same thing where it used to be, I remember when I started, I was like, okay, I got to have a couple airplane jokes, a couple family jokes, a couple dating jokes, something for everyone, and, that obviously never works. You have to figure out who you actually are. But, now I guess people are like, okay, I got to appease these people. And I think most comics now, if you want to make it in Hollywood, whatever that even looks like anymore, I think they have to, kind of agree with the people that they think are making the decisions. Right. Whereas America, the fans are like, we don't need to agree with everyone. We just want to laugh. We don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Just make us laugh.
Yeah. And I think you're seeing people that are being edgy for the sake of being edgy. People are getting tired of that too. They want somebody to talk honestly, but they don't want it to be this like paper tiger bullshit where you go like, so I can't say faggot. Did I just say?
You can. You just don't sound original.
Right. Or they love saying retard. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just like they celebrate it.
And I'm laughing because it is, I do think there's this childishness, like to bring back to religion. You're in church. The one thing you can't say, you say it. And it's kind of like, but do you want people to laugh for that reason?
Right.
It's not about getting a laugh. It's about the kind of laugh you're getting. It's like when I see comics getting, applause for a statement of like, I hate Trump. And they're like, woo, like that wasn't
laughter, they call that.
That wasn't a laugh. Yeah. That wasn't so if you're getting a laugh off retard just because people are like, oh, he said that thing you're not supposed to say. It's like, that's not in, I don't want to say it's cheating or anything like that, but it's kind of like.
Which isn't to say there's not great jokes. Like Shane Gillis has this bit, and I think his niece the correct term has intellectual disabilities. Mm-hmm. And so I give him kind of a pass on it. And I also give him a pass because it's a smart, funny joke. He talks about the Special Olympics. Like, think about somebody thought of that. He said, let's take these people.
And we know how hard it is to put an event across the fit, like how to make it happen. This was before email. Right. They were sending letters. They were doing landline phone calls, call waiting. I mean, that took years. Someone had to establish the rules. Right. Like they had to and it didn't go great the first year. The first year didn't go great.
We shot a little too high on the javelin throw. Lost a couple people.
A couple people got hurt. And but I did say in the final speech of the roast of me, I did say, thank you so much, OnlyFans, for letting us do this and letting comedians be uncensored. And I'm just grateful that we got through this whole show without saying retard. I did do that, I think there's just like, there's ways to do it. And I think like, also it's like what you said about masturbating. It's like, how do you feel after? Like there's times I'll say something where I'll just be like, I don't feel that joke did well, but I don't feel good about it.
I think to that point, what I masturbate to affects how I feel afterwards. If I masturbate to some good, wholesome, it's a couple, maybe they're married. Maybe you're watching them watch Netflix together on the couch.
Is that
and you really
category?
Watch the show. You really watch Orange is the New Black for like 5 minutes and then you see the sex.
Here's what I'll say. Nothing is more what is it when something makes hope?
Aspirational?
It makes me feel better about humanity and our future than the popularity of MILF porn.
Yes.
No one talks about like we have guys in their porn. It's like they're watching moms with dark as shit nipples and who knows what else. Like it's not like
a bush and a C-section scar. A puffy asshole.
Kids crying in the car.
Yeah.
I think there's something kind of, I'm not sure. I know that there is a biological, because I made a robot for my 4th special. And,
oh, right. I love that.
But that
was a great special.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I went down to the robot factory and they said the number one request was darkened nipples and larger nipples.
Really?
Yeah. And the darkening happens when you're pregnant so that the baby can find the nipple.
No kidding.
Yeah. So it's a little bit darker. But then also, I don't know. There's also, I have like a little bit of like, comedian brain going like, maybe guys are just watching MILF porn because like their wife just had a kid and they're trying to see if it's all like normal.
Yeah.
Like, is this supposed to be happening?
It's a
like,
scouting expedition. Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
should she be back in shape by now?
Yeah. It's amazing. Breastfeeding is actually great for your body because it actually contracts your belly. Your belly will shrink down a lot faster when you breastfeed. I don't know why, but it's my wife is a lactation consultant and a doula.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so she knows about all this shit. And when you breastfeed, she breastfed and she is still like firm and full.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 years she breastfed each kid.
Wow. We could talk about this. I haven't really announced it yet, but I'm pregnant. And
yay, Whitney! I already knew that. I mean, I already knew you were having sex, but like, I just assumed that would happen eventually.
Thank you, by the way. You nailed that. When I tell you, telling comedians that I'm pregnant, it has been by the way, the reviews have been mixed.
Really?
A lot of the reactions have been downright insulting. 90% of the comedians just think I'm joking.
Yeah.
Theo Vaughn fully couldn't like wrap his head around. We were like on a plane and he was like, I was like, what? I was like, no, with a man. He's like, what? Like, I mean, I talked about freezing my eggs at some point. Like comedians think I just like fucked a Tesla, and like have a robot baby. It's so wild. And then I won't say who this was, but I was in Austin at Rogan's Club and someone was like, yeah, being a single mother is going to be hard. And I was like, God. What makes
Tony Hinchcliffe said that to your face?
No, Tony Hinchcliffe was just punching my stomach the entire time. So I'm so awkward about talking about it, but I have fake boobs. I would love to know what she thinks about that. If I'm going to be able to breastfeed.
That's fine.
My kid's just going to come out as like a whistle in a Cracker Jack box. I don't know.
He's going to have varicose veins in his cheeks from sucking so hard.
This is going to look like one of those garbage pail kids. Just with like, I don't know. So I know a lot of women that can't breastfeed. So I guess that's where your wife comes in.
Yes, she helps with that. She's a postnatal doula, so she works with women right after they had their babies.
Is it okay if I don't have my baby in a bathtub?
I mean, it's whatever makes you comfortable. Like if you want to do it in a bathtub, my sister-in-law did it in her kitchen in a bathtub and she fucking loved it. It was great. It's a great story.
Wow.
It's fun for the kid to talk about it when they're growing up.
Yeah.
That they were born in it, but it's certainly safer to be in a hospital.
Yeah. But did she know like the cord wasn't wrapped around or?
I don't know. She's a real hippie. She's a super duper hippie.
And she had someone with her.
No, she did not. She had her mother with her, who's not medical expert or anything.
Okay.
But she's a hippie. She's also a lawyer for the ACLU. She worked for the Bronx Defenders for about 12 years. She worked in the worst section of the South Bronx, helping, and she's the one, she is responsible for stop and frisk ending. That was her case. She's amazing.
Okay, that's a badass. I don't know.
Yeah, she's a badass. And so she does things her own way. I totally respect her. But no, I mean, look, I would highly recommend getting a postnatal doula.
Yeah, surgeon.
Because they're going to help you with breastfeeding. They're going to help you with sleep coaching. They're going to be an extra set of hands that it's not like you don't want to get a nanny with a newborn.
No,
you want to get a postnatal doula. They understand how to swaddle a baby, how to teach you all the details.
That's the other thing is that we're meant to have this village of women around us, sisters and moms.
Exactly.
I don't have, parents or anything, but we're supposed to have lots of women showing us. And by the time you have a baby, you're supposed to have handled many by then, Right. So it's like, I see so many of my girlfriends who are just kind of like for the first time, they're just like holding a baby and they're just like, they've never held one before, or they don't have someone who's just like, that's normal.
Right.
Don't panic. And they're actually more resilient, but this is how you hold it. This is how you, whatever.
Right.
And then I think a lot of I'm a doctor.
You're a what?
I'm a doctor. I'm joking.
Oh.
Because
I never know with you. I would not be surprised for a second to find out that you're a
That was
doctor.
so wild. I just saw your, like, you know when a computer rebuffers stream?
Did I pinwheel on you?
It was like a total the rainbow spinning wheel of death. You were just like, it doesn't compute.
Well, you said you want to be a lawyer, and I was like, she will. She'll be a lawyer one day.
Oh, Jesus. I do see so many of my friends that have postpartum depression, and this is not science. But so much of it seems just like exhaustion. They're also not sleeping. They're also just not sleeping.
No, I recommend to any woman that's going to have a baby, spend whatever money you have supporting yourself for the first 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Because you'll lose your sanity. You'll resent the baby. Your fucking relationship will break up over it. You know, get as much support as you can get. And yeah, get a postnatal doula. She can recommend somebody because she's not coming all the way up here from Venice.
Thank you. Parenting tips. I know you have a podcast all about
Parenting
this.
tips, they are really tough. Babies are strong. If you drop it, that's fine.
Oh, like they're resilient.
They're resilient as shit.
Yeah.
And when you swaddle them, our pediatrician was a guy named Dr. Karp, who's a very famous lecturer now. He puts out a lot of books. He doesn't take patients anymore. Dr. Karp. And his book is called The Happiest Baby in the World. Oh. And his whole thing is you want to recreate the womb for the first couple months, which means...
So pour vodka on its
pour vodka. Yes. You know, just blow pot smoke around them. And so you want to swaddle the shit out of them. Yeah. You want to get a real tight swaddle. Mm-hmm. You hold them like a football. So the face is going this way and you hold it like that. And you pat his back like a heartbeat really hard.
Oh, wow.
White noise at night, a lot of movement. And if you're loud around your kid while he's sleeping, he's not going to wake up. If you tiptoe around, he's going to be this sensitive little baby.
Oh, nice.
But I
don't think we have to worry about that.
Yeah, right.
Something else that was a great piece of advice that's a great piece of advice. A great piece of advice I got is if you have dogs, have some kind of recording of babies crying in the house for like the month before.
Yep.
So that the dogs get used to it. So they're not freaking out and howling and stressing
and the
out.
other thing is let the dog meet the baby at the same time he thinks you're meeting the baby. So you put the baby in the room before he's seen you touching it. And then you walk in with the dog and you both see the baby together. Then he doesn't get territorial about it.
Ooh.
Like it would be in the wild.
That's wild. Okay, that is why, because when I have a girl, Pitbull Ridgeback, that were bred to be the nanny dogs, bred to...
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, bred to kill rats.
Uh-huh.
And so noises just because rats was the number one thing that killed babies, besides probably childbirth and whatever, the Black Death and all the other shit. But my friend Dan Levy, who, brought his toddler over, this was like 6 years ago, Abe, and was, Abe's just, walking around, and she's just on the ground, just everywhere he goes, in between people and Abe. And then I went to go pick up Abe, and she was like, "Rrr." And I was like,
really?
Uh-oh.
Like a herding instinct.
Is that
almost.
Just protecting the child?
Wow,
like they just...
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's wild.
Would your dog have attacked me if he found me coming into your house today?
No, he would have barked and probably tried to like hold you there. And then as soon as I would have hugged you, he would have stopped.
Because I showed up on time and I rang your bell and you didn't answer.
I see. Okay, I thought, that's what was happening. I got a landline, a full phone landline, like old school, got it on Etsy. Yeah. And I gave 2 people the number for emergencies, and I must have connected it to the doorbell. So that's what's happening So that's why I didn't answer.
So I had 10 minutes to walk around your grounds.
I thought it was a family member calling with an emergency, so I ignored it. The only 2 people who have the call, I said only call if it's an emergency.
That sounds needy. That ring sounds needy. So I got to walk the grounds a little bit. And again, it's a great alley, and the fire escape has a great view. It's really a beautiful studio. All right, I want to get to some things.
Oh, nice.
I do a thing called Fastballs with Fitz.
Shit, okay.
I'll give you some questions and you're going to answer them.
Who's done the best so far?
Kevin Nealon.
Always.
Kevin
Can I tell
Nealon.
you one little Kevin Nealon story?
Yeah, please.
Since you mentioned your podcast co-host for your other podcast about parenting, used to do the Adam Carolla podcast.
Yes, Allison Rosen.
Allison. I used to obsessively listen to that podcast.
Oh, really?
When I first moved to LA, I do Howard Stern like as a guest. I just didn't grow up on Howard Stern. But when I first moved to LA, for whatever reason, I guess because it was soothing, it was news, it was entertainment.
Yeah.
I feel like I was learning about the business because he would tell these really inside baseball Hollywood stories. Also, Adam, and I say this with the most love in my heart, he is so riveting to listen just to droning on about absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
There's something hypnotic about it, whether it's his voice. And then also like I'd be tuning in for him because he kind of wouldn't let the guests get a word in edgewise in a way that I liked. You know, like Lady Gaga would be on the show and he'd be like, so, you know, where are you from? And she'd be like, New Mexico. And I'd be like, I was just in New Mexico and the vending machines. And the guest was always just a jumping off point for his rant about something. And so, and Kevin Nealon, who just, you know, always the best no matter what he does, obviously, was leaning into that. He was saying, he was like, yeah, I just shot my special at the El Portal Theater in Burbank. And Adam classically went, I was born in Burbank. And Kevin Nealon went, yeah, that's why we shot it there.
That's amazing.
And I just like, I think.
Dude, when I die, I want Nealon speaking. I've seen him speak at no less than 5 memorials in my life.
Kills it.
Well, Shandling was his coup de grace. Did you say kills it?
That was an accident. Yeah. I was hoping that would just.
But he did Norm Macdonald's recently. You can go online and watch his Shandling one. I think the Norm one as well.
Norm's special. I think less people. We're not talking about it as much just because it's too sad. But the special he shot over the pandemic on that iPad on the computer. Did you see it?
I couldn't watch. I watched 10 minutes of it and I got it was so intense. I just couldn't do it.
I had that experience. I stopped. I started. I'm no way as close to him as I'm sure you were. But I finally was able to go back and watch it. And I was just crying for both reasons.
Yeah.
And there was something kind of amazing about it.
Yeah.
Because he was just so Norm. Like he'd be like, you know, like let's say there's I can't remember what the exact one was. But he says, let's say there's like a, you know, this news guy or woman. Like anytime that something would maybe be sexist, just like, or
that's
like
hilarious.
it was just so stupid.
He has some of the, I mean, I swear to God, I go down the rabbit hole with Norm all the time and I still find shit I've never seen before.
I just sent something to Adam Egget that's about the guy the Unabomber that just died in prison.
You need a tissue?
No, I'm just looking for this thing to read you. And also this brings me really quick to something that you were saying earlier about how audiences don't just want to see shocking stuff, or they, you know, it made me realize we're not the only people that are funny.
Yeah.
People are funny with memes now, with TikTok, with GIFs. Like you'll see the funniest meme you've ever seen. And
Tank Sinatra.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's like just some guy, you know, but those are memes, maybe, I don't know, but you just see them all the time. You're like, who wrote this?
Right.
Just some guy that works in H&R Block? Like, who is this guy? You know, so I think there's so much comedy out there that now people also want to have insight. They want to hear something they haven't heard. They want to, and I know every time I see you, I bring this up and I'm sorry, but it's like, they want to see something in a way they've never seen it before. Like you've got that joke, like I'm going to butcher it. This next generation doesn't believe in God.
Oh yeah.
You know, they get dropped off at their house by a stranger. They get their food delivered to them by a stranger.
They have sex with a stranger in an apartment that's owned by a stranger.
They have nothing if not faith.
Yes.
Like, boo, like, whoa. Like, I think that is, you know, I think people sort of demand insight a little bit more too.
Yeah, I think so. But by the way, speaking of memes, Carolla just produced a movie with Cedric the Entertainer. I just went to it the other night.
Cool.
And it's about memes, and it's about the people that make the memes and that whole world.
Whoa.
And it's very intense. It's very like, these are people that wake up at the crack of dawn and they go through the news and they start cutting clips
Are they getting
writing
paid?
captions. They make really good money. They make millions, and they basically get sponsorships like product placement, and I think companies sponsor them for long term.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's any traction with social media. Like I know with YouTube, you can make some money if you get a certain amount of views, not a lot, but something.
Yeah.
But no, they make decent money.
Wow, because I think there was like some scandals that some of them were stolen from comics for a while.
There's a guy named the Fat Jew or something.
Yeah.
And he's like
Jerry, I think. Was one.
Yeah, and they are ruthless. They take other people's shit because you watermark it. And they take the watermark off and they put their own watermark on and then they repost it.
Like they found that a lot of them were just old tweets from comedians and stuff. You know?
And so they got busted on it and kind of apologized. But it's the same thing, like, what's worse as a comedian than being a thief? How many careers have ended from thievery?
Well, see, now that I'm even looking at this, I feel weird because this is a meme that's just a Norm Macdonald joke, but it's a picture of him, but it's just like pulled from SNL. Right. And you're like, someone posted this on a feed. They got the metrics, they got the views. They're going to get a sponsorship because they're just posting someone else's joke. But there's no way to really audit it or track it or.
I find that when I put something up that gets some traction, I start to check on it too much and then I feel ill. I feel like empty and shitty.
If it's doing well?
Well, just know the fact that I'm checking on it.
Oh, yeah. I thought about this the other day. I mean, this is crazy comedian brain, but you know how people check their email, like you just refresh it and then you refresh it? Like that's like literally like imagine walking to your mailbox outside, opening it, going back inside, and then like 10 minutes later walking back. Like what? There's no difference, really.
Yeah.
You're just checking the mailbox.
You can literally check your social media once. That's basically what I do. I check my social media like maybe twice a day. And that's it.
That's not that bad.
And I probably miss a lot of people that are like reaching out, you know, like, because sometimes friends DM or they at you or what. I'm so bad at it.
If someone really knows you, when someone I know DMs me on Instagram, I'm like, if this ever happens again.
Yeah.
Like it drives me nuts. Because like this is you're DMing a bunch of people, you're on here doing other things, and you're just like dragging me into this app longer.
What about the time your nipple showed up on social media?
What about it?
Did you did you get a lot of views, number one? And number two, was it good in a way? Like this is a lot of attention?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I ended up writing jokes about it.
Yeah.
I think for comedians, like it's just so ridiculous because it's like, I think I feel so lucky that we do this for a living because anytime something bad happens, you can sublimate your misfortune into something good. Like it's almost like a kink at this point. Like I remember the first time it happened to me was like 13 years ago. I finally got a car for the first time. I did this paid partnership with Lexus. I think I was like $70,000 in debt. They hired me to do a talk show in the Lexus car. I had to like drive around and interview people. I mean, it's humiliating, but like I got like some real money. And then they gave me a discount on leasing a Lexus. Oh. It was a hybrid Lexus. I couldn't get a car because I didn't have credit. I didn't, Byron Allen fixed my credit. Get a car.
You don't hear that a lot.
Swear to God. Swear to God. He called me into his office about hosting a show. Yeah. And I was like, when do you think I'd get paid? Like I literally, the questions I was asking him, he was like, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm just curious. Like when, like, I was like, can I get paid in cash? Like I asked him, he was like, how's your credit? And I was like, it's really bad. I couldn't get an apartment. It was a nightmare. And so he was like, call this guy. And the guy totally helped me. But the first time I filled the car up with gas, I went to the gas station right down from the Comedy Store on Holloway and La Cienega, pulled in, and I'm like, I got this new hybrid, I got to use the best gas. I'm going to use the gas with the green nozzle.
Oh, no way.
That's
you
like
did it.
The green, it's green. This is a hybrid green. The nozzle did not fit in the hole. And my stupid, I was like, well, this is a newer car. Yeah. Like you guys haven't even caught up to this model yet. So I like held it over and let it and so I filled up with diesel fuel, totally destroyed it.
No.
But then within went on stage, like I didn't have the money to it was like $6,000 to because it destroys the engine.
Yeah.
why is it even in the same gas station, by the way? I have so many questions.
Yeah.
But it should be more clear. There's dumber idiots out there than me that I feel like might also do this. But so then I wrote a joke about it. And then it became this big joke that I did in my first special. And then so it's like every time something bad happened to me, like it would suck, but then I'd be like, there's gonna be a joke. And that's how I would like get through it, you know? So as soon as the nipple thing happened, it just was, at first I was like, that one was rough. I think more because I think it was like a kid. Like it was at a time where there had just been that big leak, like big leak of women's nudes in Hollywood. And I remember being
like Jennifer, what's her name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like it was brutal.
Yeah.
And I remember genuinely being kind of offended I wasn't in that one. So by the time that happened, I was kind of like, see, just like you still got it. Like, but someone that leaked a Scarlett Johansson one and ended up going to jail for like 11 years. Like it's not, you can't do that. Whoa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but nobody leaked yours. You leaked yours.
No, yes. So basically he said how much to not leak this. You know, and it was,
you?
Yes.
Oh, I had no idea. I thought you posted a picture and you didn't realize your nipple was showing.
No. Okay. So I did in my Instagram stories, but I took it down right away. Someone had screen grabbed it and then he tried to extort me with it.
Got it.
So then he tried to extort me with it. And it was just this weird, the only thing about it that ended up being hard was going like, do I press like, is this person going to do this to other people? Am I in a situation where I could stop something awful or do I just... And I kind of was like, I just posted on Twitter, Instagram so that he couldn't sell it, because I was like, I feel like this is just like a kid. Like my instinct was like, this is a kid that just like saw this opportunity. Look, we used to toilet paper people's houses. We used to take a shovel and drive past someone's mailbox. I mean, we used to do property damage. Yeah. Like now when people are like, this kid left a mean comment on my Instagram. Like we used to throw eggs at people's homes and destroy their...
We threw flower pots in somebody's pool and cracked the base. They had to rebuild the entire pool. Yeah.
What was your reasoning?
We had this energy at 13.
Yeah.
Where we just wanted to break shit. We used to smash store windows. I threw a brick through a store window one time.
What was the store?
It was like
an abortion clinic. That's why you talk about it so much now. Feeling
guilty.
They
sell death. That's what they sell. It was just this weird.
Is it Boston?
No, I grew up in New York.
In New York, okay.
And fist fights. We used to get into fist fights a lot, like friends. Like I would fight my friends.
Yep.
And we punch each other in the face.
Yep.
And I broke a pool stick over a friend's head once. But then we get along the next day. We were fine.
Well, yeah, he had CTE. He had no brain cells left.
Plus, we had to share the only other stick, so it brings you together.
But do you feel like that happens less now because there's online rage? Like kids have a way to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it is that's sublimating what used to be a physical demonstration of violence, and now it's an online kind of destroy. You want to blow shit up
and look,
you want to cause chaos.
And I did talk about this in my last special about how when parents complain about social media, not that I have any idea. I'm about to be a mom. I have no idea how I'm going to handle it. I'm sure there's going to be days where I'm like, take the iPad. I don't know. But about when parents complain about kids and social media, the phones are so bad for kids. It's like, yeah, okay, but like, when's the last time you saw a kid in a cast?
Yeah,
it's like kids don't get physically injured the way they used to. Like we used to, I remember half the kids in my grade had a cast with a metal bar. Like it was like we had full body, like leg cast from foot, like to dick, like cast. Yeah. Like we used to fall off seesaws. Like we used to and now kids are kind of just like, they have anxiety. It's like, it can't be that much.
Well, I don't know what the solution is, but you should consider raising your kid somewhere else once they get to a certain age. LA is a weird place to raise kids.
It doesn't seem like I'm going to stay here much longer.
It just feels like, my kids, when I go back to New York, because I grew up in the suburbs in New York, and like I show them, we used to ride our bikes down this path and around this lake, and then I'd go to my friend's house, and my mother would just say, be home at 6 o'clock. And that was it. We were gone. And this is at the age of like 9, 10 years old.
Mine would say be home by dark.
Yeah, right.
kids don't know when it's going to get dark. So that's,
Yeah.
you know, but I mean, there was a woman who was looking through her window, whatever, washing dishes. Her kid was playing in the park across the street. She got arrested. I don't know where this was.
I heard about that. I heard about that.
We used to walk home from school. We'd be gone all day.
I know.
Is that a law now?
I know. Yeah.
That you can't let your kid be unsupervised?
Yeah.
This is LA. A pedophile will find it fast. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I see friends of mine. I mean, I'm like not into Panga, but there's a lot of people I know that are in kind of like deep to which is kind of our like Woodstock or something.
Yeah.
But then there's that, you know? So I agree with you. I look at my friends and their kids and I'm like, this kid needs to be pinched.
Yes.
I come from kind of Southern parenting where if you're being an asshole in the grocery store, like there's a pinch on the back of the arm all the way to the car.
Yeah.
And it works.
Wait, where did you grow up?
Basically Roanoke, Virginia, DC, but also Virginia.
Okay. Yeah.
But my mom's from Texas.
Okay.
My dad's from Virginia. So
Right.
there was a lot of just, you know, I've told the story about my mom hit me one time hard across the face. And I'm so grateful she did when I was like starting to be an asshole.
Really?
When I was a teenager. Yeah. When I was 12 years old, my parents were divorced and my mom started dating again. And I wasn't parented enough. I wasn't, no one was hard on me. I didn't have enough structure. I was more neglected than anything. I can't be too mad at my mom. She had a job. It was like the first generation of women that had full-time jobs, you know?
Right.
She worked at Bloomingdale's. I didn't want to, you know, be in the freaking department store all the time. So I'd go home and, you know, she was gone a lot. She starts dating again. I'm like not getting her attention. My parents are divorced. Things are chaotic. You know, we're like running around on the streets and, you know, I'm stealing money from my mom. And she was like, where's the money you stole? And I said something to the effect of, well, who cares if I steal your money? You're going to get more because you're just a hooker.
No.
Called her a hooker to her face.
Because she worked at Bloomie's?
Well, no.
There is a high incidence. I've been there.
I can't. Little brown bag. I had it every day at school.
Yeah.
That was my lunch bag. No, because she was dating again. You know, she was like, you know, which is like, she should be.
Was the guy sleeping over in your house?
I don't even know. I just was angry.
Yeah.
You know, I was angry. You know, you little, you know, teenage boys do physical damage. We do emotional damage to our moms. You know,
it's so sick. The mother-daughter relationship, and we talked about it earlier. It's so loaded.
Dude, she smacked me so hard across, like open palm, smack. I like hit a wall, hit the ground. And I don't remember a lot from my childhood, but I remember the second I hit the ground, my first thought was, thank God.
Yeah. Put on the brake.
God. She finally stood up to me.
Yeah.
And I respected her.
Uh-huh.
And it worked.
Right.
You know, and I was like craving discipline. I was craving someone, you know, because girls especially, we test.
Yeah.
We test and we want you to push back, you know. But yeah, I found out I'm having a boy and I am so embarrassed.
Oh, you're having a boy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
I am really embarrassed of my reaction because I was like, oh, thank God. Like I was.
Dude, they are so much easier. They're simple. You give them a ball and they're good. That's it. Their friends are their teammates.
Louie, when Louie was doing that joke about, he's like, back in the day about how boys will destroy your stuff, but girls will destroy your mind.
Yeah.
About one of his daughters broke her Barbie, like broke the head off her Barbie. And the daughter said to him, like, the sister was gone and was like, I need you to break my sister's Barbie so we're even. And he's like, and I did it. I'm like, this sounds awful, but I don't want to be in a dogfight with a girl. I know what you're doing. You're conniving, you're beguiling, you're sort of wired to kind of see how much you can get away with. And
it's also, they go out all day and they go to school where they're told what to do all day. And then they're with friends where they're trying to fit in. So they got to do that whole set of things. And when they come home, they need somebody they can just fucking dump on.
Yeah.
Because they've held on to it all day.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there and I'm like, I was that with my mom. And, you know, there was a book, I don't remember the name of it.
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
That was a hitter, dude. I mean, that was a big one.
Dude. I love Judy Blume. What was it, 16 or?
Is that who? Oh, no, that's not who Trump had the court case with?
No.
That was E. Jean Carroll.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
For a second.
No, Judy Blume was not assaulted by a Trump. One of the few.
That would be the most gangster move. People are like, let's see if I can get away with this.
But I went to see for Mother's Day, my wife wanted to take my daughter to see Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
With Rachel McAdams. They did that, yeah.
And so I had to go, but I didn't have to go. I was kind of psyched to go because I really did. That book was powerful when I was a kid.
It was big. Learned about periods and all that.
And so we went to the movie and it was filled with tween girls and us. And then a dude walks in and sits in front of us alone. Greasy hair.
Bummer.
Girls it was sold out. So there was girls on either side of him. And me and my wife could not concentrate on the movie because she was watching his armrest to make sure the hand didn't go anywhere. And I kept looking over his shoulder to make sure he wasn't jerking off. This movie had girls, 13-year-old girls with little buds putting on training bras. And they had girls.
Topless?
No, but
it had
from behind topless, and they put on the training bra and they turn around. Girls in bikinis that are 12 jumping through a sprinkler. It was so like quasi-erotic. It was like a pedo's fucking dream.
But don't you think pedos wait till it goes to VOD?
No, he wanted to sit with the girls in the audience.
So that's the thing.
Yes.
He knew there'd be
hiding
girls
in
in
plain
the audience.
sight. Yep.
But how do you... Shit, man.
And then he darted out before the lights came up.
No.
He was gone. Yeah, he was gone.
There was a time I went to Disneyland with a friend of mine who is like in the Disney world. Like she plays a Disney character on like a Disney show.
Really?
Yeah. And, so they get this like special treat because they're like the Beatles. She plays Snow White on one of the shows. So, we get like an escort that takes us around and the whole thing. And I'm just the whole time, I'm just like, dude, so what's the problem? Because Disney, like, except for the exit through the gift shop documentary, that Banksy, the guy, remember when Banksy it was a Guantanamo Bay prisoner on one of the rides at Disneyland.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's the only time they've ever had a like issue. It's the only time they've ever. You never hear anything about Disneyland. You never hear about pedophiles. You never hear about crimes. You never hear about problems. You never hear about a kid getting hurt. Like they are like, they have their shit together over there. And so we got to do a tour of Walt Disney's like apartment and, all that kind of stuff. And because I'm obsessed with the Disney underworld, like there's a whole world underneath.
Wasn't he a Nazi sympathizer?
I mean, I think anti-Semitic is kind of what they it's like all the characters that were like villains all were like Jewy kind of thing or something. Like when you see like a compilation of it, you're like, that doesn't look great. But I also I get in a wormhole of former Disney princesses that were princesses at the parks talking about their experience on YouTube, and they talk about like you're not allowed to eat, you're not allowed to say certain things. Like there's all these rules. You have to do your makeup a certain way. It's fascinating to me. But we are going around and I'm just like, someone's to deal. How do you deal with the rats? Cats. They let 150 cats out every night.
No.
Swear to God, deal with the rat problem.
Wow.
And they come back in the morning. Well, I'm like, that's the Disneyland I want a cat land. So at night, they let all these cats out. And then I'm like, so you're telling me there's never been a pedophile? I mean, you're telling me this isn't ever like... They have, I think it was like 1 in every 30 or 40 people is like a plainclothes security guard. And he's like, if you just sit down, and if you just like watch long enough, you'll see a plainclothes guy go up to another plainclothes guy and be like, hey buddy, let's go for a walk. And they have a whole like system of how they just like get, keep the kids safe, keep the kids safe.
Can you say this on a podcast?
Well, you're the one that just said Walt Disney was a Nazi.
I did say that. All right. Fastballs with Fitz, because we got to wrap this up. We got to do your show
I don't think
afterwards.
either of us are working with Disney anytime soon, is my guess.
No.
Can I read the just so no one's blueballed, the Norm Macdonald?
Yes.
This was a joke from SNL because Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber.
Yeah.
This was a joke he did. It must have been 30 years ago. Ted Kaczynski, the notorious Unabomber, died in his jail cell earlier this week. He went from living in a 3x5 shack in the woods to a 5x8 cell. So we sure showed him. It's just like Norman.
That's great.
The best.
He had a joke where he said, oh, fuck, I got to think
By
of
the way,
name.
that's what he would have done at the beginning of just that silence.
Who was the guy who was he was like a real hippie in the 60s? He was a leader of the hippie movement.
Good or bad?
Good. Known for like some drug use, LSD, tripping. All right, let's say the guy's name is Ron Simon.
Okay.
All right, so the joke was, yippee! Ron Simon died last week. And he went, oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Yippee, Ron Simon died last week.
That's like you and I both write jokes. It's like, I don't know. I never would have gotten there.
Yep.
You could have put me in a room for like, I would have thought of a lot of jokes, but like, I don't even know how your brain went there, man.
I know. Genius. All right, let's see where your brain. Here's what I think. Your phone is sitting there. If your phone ever got stolen, I think about the celebrity names that are in that fucking phone.
Really?
I would put that phone up against almost anybody in Hollywood.
Really?
Yours is solid.
People think that. I don't know why.
Let's go name for name.
All right. Let's go.
I'm gonna look up somebody in here and I'm gonna see if you have their name or not. All right.
By the way, Joe Rogan is the worst one. I mean, that's the one that I'm the most worried about. Not that the FBI isn't watching all of our texts. Well, because also I'm so dumb. I like to put celebrities into my phone under other celebrities' names.
Oh, you do? Oh, that's funny.
So I'll put like someone really famous under like Hillary Clinton or
That's
something.
good.
So either way, they're going to get harassed.
Yeah.
You know?
Or you could put somebody famous as, like, I could assign my wife like George Clooney. And then when my phone rings, people are like, do you have John Hamm?
No.
Nice. All right, go ahead. Your turn.
Hold on. Let me just make sure. Like there could have been a weird night. No.
All right, ask me one.
Do you have? Hold on. What are you just going from just random?
Yeah.
Do you have Kesha?
No. Do you have?
This is so toxic.
Do you have?
Because now I'm literally looking at celebrities on my phone, going, "Oh, they're not that famous."
Do you have Bubba the Love Sponge?
No.
Well, I got him.
Is that The Voice?
He is he is a DJ in Tampa. He's a crazy DJ in Tampa.
Oh, I don't know why I thought that.
Do you have Mary Jo Buttafuoco?
Do you have BJ Novak?
Yes.
Shit.
That was easy.
Of course you
Come
do.
on.
I know. This is Hillary Duff.
No. Nice one. Do you have Mario Cantone?
No. You know what? Do you have Ant?
Yes.
No, I'm joking. I don't.
Do you have
Jesus, this is hard.
let's see.
Because I don't. Do you have Jen Aniston?
Oh shit. You got Jen Aniston?
I mean, she might have changed it. I don't
What
know.
name do you put it under?
I'm not telling you.
Chelsea Handler.
Yes.
Margaret Cho.
Yes.
Okay.
This is hard.
Louis C.K.
You know what? Yes, unless he's changed it in the last. Changed it all the time, I feel like.
Okay. He does change it all the time.
But it's like a flip. It's like a. It's like a card. It's like you have to call a car. You have to call a SBC Global kiosk.
Do you have Conan O'Brien?
Damn it. Do you have Ben Shapiro?
Who's Ben Shapiro? Oh, the political guy?
Yeah.
No.
I'm sure it was a weird fight. Do you have Roseanne Barr?
No. Just met her for the first. No. I shouldn't say that.
Not
I had her on
first.
my podcast once, but I didn't feel like that was meeting her because she came into the studio, we did it, and she left.
Mhm.
But then I was at Joe's Club a couple weeks ago, and she was there, and I got to hang out with her, and then she sat and she watched my whole set. It was very sweet, and then we talked later.
Making her laugh, there's nothing like it.
She's so great.
There's nothing like it.
I love her. She's always keeping her name in the press. All right, listen, let's get to this because we got to do yours.
See, now I feel like okay. I'm gonna be texting you some celebrity names later. Now I feel like I'm a failure.
All right. All right.
This is fastball.
What have you turned down recently?
Some tour dates.
Really?
Does this have to be funny or?
No, I think it's funny sometimes when you get offered something that's so horrible and you just are like, no way.
Oh, well, oh God. Yeah. I get offered to play a lot of like bitchy, sex crazed ex-wives.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just say no?
Yeah, I don't like. I've done that. It's like I get asked to play a lot of like bitchy agents, Hollywood agents, Hollywood publicists,
and you don't want to do that.
I don't mind, but it has to be like, you know.
Yeah. Right.
Perfect. Like I get asked to play comedians and things. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that unless it's like the Fox show I did was like a drama. And I was like, okay, I probably wouldn't I don't always get asked to do drama. So let me do that.
Yeah.
Do it. Like I'll save it for something.
Yeah, that's fun.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, doing drama for you, does that feel like?
I love it.
It's because you don't have to worry about doing the comedy. You can just focus on
it's so hard and intense. Like whereas comedy, it's like, sometimes your face isn't, you know, you kind of really have to make sure your face matches what needs to happen. Whereas like drama, it's just like if you're just being honest about it, it's, you know, that's all you can really do is just tell the truth about it. Whereas sometimes, you know, it's like you'll do a joke and then you'll like watch it back and you're like, oh, I like did it like this and I should have done it like this or whatever. It's like nice to not have to like feel like corny, but also, you know, I don't know if you remember, and I don't want any pity or anything, but remember when Mickey Rourke did The Wrestler?
Yeah,
but he was like this incredible dramatic performance.
Yes, and
all the interviewers were like, "How did you cry like that, like on cue?" And he was like, "I'm always about to cry." You know, and so great. I'm not. Don't worry, I'm not going to say acting is therapy. You know, but it is. I don't cry most of the time at most things, so it's like kind of like fun to be able to do it for something that isn't just like being a mess in my house.
Could you cry right now if I asked you to?
If you really needed me to, I probably could. I have to do my podcast after this. I feel like you're about to cry.
I am about to cry. I'm always about to cry.
Are we falling in love?
I want to father this baby.
I probably could, but it's for me, like there's kind of like no turning back sometimes. If I get emotional. All
right.
Remember we were in here crying yesterday, Pat?
Really?
Yeah. There was like four or five ups and downs yesterday.
Well, we had a Adriana Chechik on. She's a porn star that just retired.
Oh.
And just like lots of, but once it starts, it's really hard to get out of it, which is, it's not like stuck in a character. It's just like, you know.
Well, I cry when I laugh really easily.
Yeah.
Like even during this interview, I've wiped my face like 5 times.
That's a good thing.
I love it.
I used to
It's weird when people don't know me though, and they're like, "Why is this guy fucking crying?"
It's a good thing. I used to when I in a writer's room, like, you know, I was going through a lot when I was doing the NBC sitcom, and something would make me laugh so hard. And I would like just die. There's nothing. I would just die and like go under the table, like be laughing. Like we come back, like, and come up, and they'd be like, "Oh no, don't let her go under the table." Like, what happens under the table? Sometimes you laugh so hard, it just like
hilarious.
Comes out.
Yeah. All right. What have you ever not finished a set on stage?
One time, I didn't finish it to the kind of completion I would want to. One time I was on stage do you remember when there was a Chicago Comedy Festival?
Yes.
It was ephemeral, maybe 2 years, JFL. I was on stage. I was doing a midnight show. This is supposed to be fast. This isn't supposed to be.
No, it doesn't matter. No, it's just a
midnight show. You know, and I've been doing the Comedy Store for probably 6-7 years by now. Been doing Howard Stern quite a bit. So sometimes people would show up, they yell Baba Booey, you know, they're a little drunk. It's midnight, like dirty show. Like those are the kind of spots I would get at that time. And, you know, as I'm on stage, like doing, I don't need to like make myself small. I'm doing well. And someone yells like, "I want to fuck you with a knife," you know?
Shit.
Yeah. But I'm like, hecklers are, it depends on the situation, but I've come from the Comedy Store, you know, I was doing La Jolla a lot at the time, which is the best to just to me, it just shakes things up, you know?
Yeah.
And it is what it is. It happens to everyone. Can't change it. Might as well go with it. So I'm kind of like, how would that work? And, you know, and like, but blood isn't really lube. It congeals, like it's going fine, right? And then I'm just start bombing.
Yeah.
I mean, bombing.
Yeah.
Could hear a pin drop, and I see that. I then just look over because everyone's looking kind of on my like shoulder, and I see that the host of the show has come out on stage and was going,
oh shit.
and is miming to the audience not to heckle. Can you imagine?
Wow.
And it's not about gender. It doesn't matter. It's just like, I was so stunned and embarrassed. I was in shock. It's hard to shock. I was like in shock.
Yeah.
I'd never had that happen before. You know, I got off stage. I don't remember what happened after that. Like I was like, thanks, I got it. And he went off stage and there's just no way to really recover from that. At least I didn't know how to at that point. The audience was like all of a sudden worried about me. It was just like bizarre. And I got off stage and I was just like in a coma. And Sebastian actually came up to me and he was like, we're going to get out of here, you know? And I was like, I'd like to talk to him about that. He's like, we're going to head out. Like 2 other comics I remember like took me and kind of like ushered me out because I just like needed to know why that happened.
Yeah.
And then the next day I called 12 comics to ask them what would have to happen for you to go on stage while someone else was performing. 11 out of 12 said someone would have to physically be charging the stage.
Yeah.
And Don Morera said, I would have to see a gun.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I feel better that was like crazy.
Yeah.
But now I don't think that would happen, but I would probably know how to handle it. But I was just like, I don't think I really finished my set. I kind of like got off fast and was like, just, daze.
How was your next set after that?
I was fine after that. It was just like, that was just.
But isn't it amazing after an experience like that, how you go on that next set fucking ready to kill?
But yeah, that is really interesting. I'm sure it was. I'm sure I was so ready to like get back. But I was like, I was in shock, like, which is very hard. I'm not, people are like, fight, flight, freeze. I'm always fight. Dog parks. I'm the first one in, putting my finger in the butthole of the dog. Like I'm always fight.
Is that a thing?
Mm-hmm. If dogs are locked onto each other, if you put your finger in their butthole, usually they'll let go.
That's weird because during sex they grab harder.
During sex they file for divorce. You can pull up their legs at the same time, but there's like if it's 2 really big dogs, those are kind of your options.
All right, last question. What's the hackiest bit you've ever done?
When I first started, I was very like one-linery, like I definitely had like period joke, which I have a very no period rule, just because I've done it. I don't need to do it. It's if you do it, fine. But I did this run where I would go, I did all these kind of like double entendre jokes. With Kabbalah was happening, like Kabbalah was a thing, at the time. And I'd be like, I don't need to do Kabbalah. Like, why would I? Oh God, I want to kill myself. Why would I go pay $50 for a red string when I have a perfectly good red string in between my legs? Like, just like cringe, And then I'm like, sorry guys, no more tampon jokes. Period. Like I was just like, it was just like, And then I would do these abortion jokes that were like, the fact that I'm saying, is so, like I'm doing the version of myself. Like people are against abortion, but like I love my abortion doctor. Like he really like brings out the kid in me. Like I would do like stuff like that.
That's a great joke. I love that joke.
And then I had one that was like, he really like brings out my inner child. But they were like,
oh no. I'm taking that right out of the hack category and putting it back into your act.
It was so like, maybe now I would deliver it in a way that'd be more conversational.
Right.
And now that, but I remember I just felt like I was delivering jokes. You know?
All right, well, listen, you're delivering jokes now at a very high level. You're one of the best comics in the country. You're prolific. You always have new shit. And every time I see a new special, your point of view is so much more honed and you're passionate about the material you do. It's great to see.
Thank you. That means so much coming from you. I'm a huge fan. I've been a big fan for a long time. And I feel like every time I come to your podcast, I feel like I've been so weird. I feel like I finally wasn't weird.
Well, we just got to do it at your house every time.
I know. Remember that one time I came to do the podcast at the Comedy Store and I was so insecure that I was rude to the person in the parking lot.
You felt so bad. You apologized for 45 minutes.
I was running late for your podcast and you shoot at the Comedy Store and the person that was the front, I thought she was parking cars.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, are you parking cars? And she's like, no. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And then I was like, oh God, did I just, and I, went back and I just felt horrible.
Yeah, you did a number on yourself unnecessarily because she didn't really feel offended.
She didn't care.
In the first place. No.
Didn't care.
No.
I just cannot, I really don't do well when people are rude for no reason or just like sideswipe your day by being disrespectful. And I was and when I'm late, I already am mad at myself because then you start taking it out on people. And I was like rushed and I brought rushed energy into her life that she didn't ask for. And
you're in a Porsche. It's a bad
I was
optic.
not in a Porsche at the time. But it made me, however you feel after you masturbate. That's how I felt.
Yes.
I was just like, oh, I needed to get the shame off.
Yeah, you needed to close the window.
I felt ashamed.
If you want to see Whitney live, she will be at the aforementioned La Jolla Comedy Club.
I'm doing La Jolla. I'm starting to do it like Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Just
to work, Tuesdays, Wednesdays.
Club.
But also just like, it's easy to get stage time around here, but just to go down and do 2 shows a night, Tuesday, Wednesday. Spend the night down there? I'm going to spend the night, work on the new hour, and I'm going to try to do it just Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I'm going to do Brea, like all these like smaller venues to just kind of work out the hour.
Lake Charles, Louisiana, Rancho Mirage, California. Is that
That's in
casino?
Palm Springs. It's a new venue in Palm Springs.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Damn.
That was so Dennis Miller. Okay, kid.
Okay. Good luck with that.
Moncton, NB, whatever the fuck that is.
New Brunswick. Is that Canada? If that's
I think it's Canada.
Oh, that we got rid of because I'm going to be birthing. But I'm going to go to Maine, and it's all on the...
Yeah, it's all on the website. If you go to her website, it's fun. It will also give you the link to see these roasts that she's been doing on OFTV. And
we did me and Bert Kreischer.
You and Bert Kreischer, they're both amazing. Killer lineups. So
Comics
well
only.
produced.
Comics only.
Colorful.
Oh.
Bright, vibrant sets.
Donnell Rawlings is on it, yes.
He is bright. All right. Whitney, thank you so much.
Love you. And now we're going to do an episode where you're on my podcast.
Can't wait.
Very exciting.